Welcome to Chasing the Beats, a show dedicated to weeklybeats.com artists, their songs, and stories from the 2024 season. I'm your host, SQF. And today I'm doing a special edition community garden episode. It's summer. The sun is out really late right now. We're getting close to the solstice. I have just been wanting to spend a little bit more time outside, soaking up some of that sun, doing some gardening, some biking, and just stepping away from the computer for a little bit. My work consists of Zoom calls on the computer, so spending more time on the computer, while it is way more fun to talk to Weekly Beats people, I just needed a little break. So while I was out in my garden, I was kind of thinking about, the meals and the sharing of garden items with my community and friends. And there's just something special about getting a tomato that your friend grew, or sharing something with a friend like, oh, you gotta taste this. This is better than anything you can get at the store. So getting things from people and giving them kind of comes with like this extra care and thought about the time and energy that went into help see that produce or that meal, help see it into something edible. So I've been thinking a lot about the Weekly Beats community and how running this podcast has really shown me the importance of community. As the world seems to be turning to shit, it's even more important to engage with and build communities around like-minded people, whether it's gardening or making music or just being creative for creative's sake in a world where we must always, commodify anything we make. So it's nice to be able to give some tomatoes to someone with nothing in return. And I keep coming back to this idea about, the Weekly Beats community and sharing more with each other. Like when I think of samples that come from Splice to me are like veggies that come from the grocery store. They'll work. You can make things out of them, but you don't necessarily know who made it. Maybe it's someone famous that made it. Okay. But I think there's something special about sharing more of our incomplete musical ideas with each other. And so I've been trying to spend a little bit more time getting back into making music, which I feel like I'm there and I'm in that headspace. I've had, almost 6 months to sort of decompress from the Weekly Beats grind, but I'm also not necessarily putting a ton of pressure on myself to finish anything. And the song that I played at the very beginning is something that is definitely unfinished. But I have been thinking about taking more of these unfinished works and bringing everyone along. So what I'm going to do is share the full M8 project with all the stems and all the samples that I used to make this song. And we'll listen to the most complete part of it here in a minute. But my hope really is that if you haven't really been super inspired to make something, or maybe you're in a rut, you are just kind of doing the same old, I'm hoping that maybe you can find some inspiration for this. Maybe there's an opportunity to collaborate and take it in a different direction. I'm not sure exactly what will come of this. I think my biggest goal would be that people use these samples and ideas in some sort of way that we can come back together and share. Even just if you used one tiny sample, like what happened? Like, how did that inspire you? Where did that take you in song direction? Or even if it's like, I took these stems and here's how I mix and master them to sound even better. So I think it's less about the complete and final song and more about what you did with these pieces, parts, and how they affected you. And I think it would be cool too to share, hey, I combined this with another loop that I made, and here's like a cool other piece part that someone else can use. So I just think it matters more knowing that, hey, I got a sample from these two other Weekly Beats artists, and now we're combining them into something completely different. I just think there's something cool about that, and rooted in my desire to kind of continue to give back to this community, because like I said, running this podcast has shown me how important and how necessary this community is, and how great it has been to be a part of it and learn more about the artists that I've interviewed. And so, yeah, I'm going to start out by playing the most complete block that I have. And this is on the M8, which I originally wanted to make this sort of a visual M8 follow along, but I think that will be for another episode. I have some hellacious hum that I'm trying to get rid of. More experimentation to go on that. So here's the first cohesive block of music. Though some things repeat, it's not perfect. Work in progress. Here we go. Okay. So that's what I've got so far. The opening pad, this sound is, I've got a GS Music E7, and this is sampled from, I started a project on my Digitone 2, and I've actually got another sample in here with the drums included in it. This is directly from the Digitone 2. And so when it goes to that separate section, the drums overlaid with the other drum track I've got going kind of adds a lot to it. And there's kind of this, I really like this section. So that almost feels like a chorus to me. I'm going to go through a little bit more of my Boneyard, and then I've got a bunch of other samples where I've been trying to get back into playing guitar more. So I did a bunch of different takes over a couple different days, just coming up with some ideas that go along with this. So I'll play some of those. I've got another piece of the Boneyard that's sort of like a B section, this one. And then I'll play some more of the guitar ideas. And that's actually the same sample, just doubled left and right for some extra little goodness. All right, here's another one. That one's maybe not my favorite. It would probably get thrown away. We'll see. So, also, the sample files, they're not exactly on time with the loops. I'm doing all sorts of modification in the M8 because I just sampled these not from like a sequenced what's the word? Not from like a sequenced like bar, so they don't line up. So don't expect to just like drop this in and go. But I kind of like how a lot of these guitar parts, the timing isn't perfect. You know, I've been living in a on the grid M8 world for such a long time. It's kind of nice to have some imperfections. There's also some hum in some of the guitar parts, which I have fixed the wiring on my guitar. But, you know, these are sketches. If they need to live on in a song part in a better recording, then we'll get there. All right, here's another one. right, another one. That one's definitely got a little bit of hum in it. All right, next one. All right. Kind of like that one that's like surf guitar chord kind of feeling. I like that one overlaid with one of the other parts. I think they go really well together. Let's see what else we got in the boneyard here. That's like a lead overlaid with that like surf guitar kind of sound. That's that lead with that kind of like chorusy descending part that I like. So that's a guitar part playing along, kind of emulating that synth part, that, you know, that chorusy kind of sounding one. So that is my entire boneyard. There's a bunch of different ideas in there. I'm still trying to come up with a nice B part, or just take the song in a different direction. And like I said, if you want to collab on something, let me know. If you want to take bits and pieces and combine them into something else. I am looking to finish this song, but I'm also I'm kind of more interested at this point to, you know, see what happens in more of a group setting. So I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm going to post the files in a Dropbox with the podcast description, and feel free to add links to files in the Discord and reach out if you want to do anything else. All right. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks for visiting my community garden, and we should be back to regularly scheduled interviews next week. Catch you later.